Welcome, tourists, elders, and Lilliputians, to the 237th episode of an Unearthly Podcast, streaming live on the 20th December 2017, and featuring Planet of Fire, written by Peter Grimwade, and starring Peter Davison as the Doctor, Mark Strickson as Turlough, Gerald Flood as the voice of Kamilion, Anthony Ainley as the Master, and introducing Nicola Bryant as Perpigillion Brown. And it just occurs to me that I had meant to look up the actor who actually plays Kamilion in this episode, because it's not just the animatronic.
Mm-hmm.
I am Bill Sylvia, the Man in Black, and with me are Mad Matt Winchell.
Burn out the day.
Randy Ronson McCulloch.
Good evening, everybody.
Aaron Romeo Moon Burke.
Ice cream!
Tim the Enchanter Sheridan.
Christmas pancakes!
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
And Thomas Fireheart.
I'm actually here this week.
Hey.
Wasn't the person that was playing Kamilion basically just Dallas Adams, the guy that played Howard in...
That's the name.
That must be it, yeah.
Yep. And he played Kamilion significantly more than Gerald Flood did in this episode.
To be honest, yeah.
which is why I wanted his name, but I forgot to look it up. I forgot to put it into the document, which I should have done.
Yes. If you haven't figured out, we go on a document. It's done hastily at the last minute, usually by me.
Well, yes,
Hi,
we don't
Vixie the
memorize
chat,
all
by the
this.
way.
Hello.
Hello.
I sometimes type this thing up days in advance, and sometimes I'm just like, oh crap, we're streaming in 3 hours. Birthdays! I have to find birthdays. And sometimes I forget, and Bill has actually done work on it, but there's some week that neither one of us even looks at it until like an hour before we're supposed to start, and we're like, oh crap, neither one of the other did it. Crap. Anyway,
Nobody did anything.
So tonight on the show, we have the news, and there's a bit of news, but not a lot. A lot of birthdays, but I can get through those fairly quickly. We do have Geek Talk this week because Thomas has seen the new Star Wars movie, and of us, he is surprisingly the only one to have seen it. Normally, it would be Aaron
Against
and myself.
Will.
At least, but
Life
because
happens.
of ticket demand, and when we could have gone to see it, there was no way we were getting tickets worth a damn that wouldn't keep us on opposite sides of the theater from each other for the movie. And what's the point of seeing the movie as a couple if we're not together?
Yeah.
So, and, with Christmas expenses and everything, going to a movie this month is expensive anyway. So we're hoping to see it next Tuesday. But I'm not holding my breath.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to see it this weekend.
I'm planning to see it tomorrow, barring unforeseen bullshit.
Also coming up tonight is my rant of the week, which is kind of more of a PSA than anything else. And I know I hate PSAs, but I'm not making an entire episode of it. This is mostly just a bit of a lecture on common courtesy during the holiday season.
Yes.
Everybody's caught up, so there's no review of Shame this week.
No shame.
Then the 5-minute challenge, which I believe is my turn. After
I believe we were pointing out that it was your turn last time, so yeah, if you're up to
and I
it.
bowed out because I was mentally exhausted after PT. And I was mentally exhausted after PT today, but I've recovered. I mean, I had a good dinner. I'm in a good place right now. So let's get this ball started. Then, of course, there's the episode review, our final thoughts and ratings. So let's get the ball started with birthdays. Shut up, Matt. Shut up, Bojack. Shut up, Gregory.
Oh my.
Shut up, Bubbles. Okay, so the first birthday we have is on the 16th of December, and that is the birthday of Nicholas Courtney, better known as the Brigadier for all you slackers, who would have been 88, but he died in 2011 at 81, which, is still a crying shame to most of us here on the podcast, who loved the Brigadier deeply. let's face it, pretty much it was a crying shame to any old school Doctor Who fan. Because the Brig was one of those rare companions that wasn't just one Doctor's companion or two Doctor's companions. He was there through the second, the third, the fourth.
Technically, he appeared as a different character for the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not talking the actor. I'm talking the character.
But for the Brigadier himself,
He's
yes,
the
he's been there since the second Doctor, and he's never missed one
fourth, fifth,
until New Who.
He missed the sixth.
Yep.
But everybody can miss the sixth.
He made up for it in Big Finish.
I made up for it in Big Finish, but yeah, he was second, third, fourth, fifth, and seventh Doctor had episodes with the Brig, so he was a big character in the series. So the loss of Nicholas Courtney hit us all hard to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So a posthumous happy birthday to Nick Courtney, and just a we miss you. Moving on to the 17th of December. It's December, not November. It's December. Shut up, brain. We're celebrating one of those honorary mention of a person who only played one role in Doctor Who, but is big in other parts of geekdom. And there's actually several of those on the list tonight. And this one is Bill Pullman, who played Oswald Danes in Torchwood Miracle Day, better known as the President of the United States in Independence Day, and yes, Lone Star in Spaceballs.
Lone Star.
He turned 64. Bill is pretty active these days, being in 3 movies, those being The Ballad of Lefty Brown, Battle of the Sexes, and Backseat, where he plays Nelson Rockefeller, and a TV series, The Sinner, this year. He has at least 2 movies lined up for next year, too, so he's not sitting idle.
No.
For him.
Isn't there also rumors of the attempt at the second Spaceballs still going around?
Rumors, but I think that's not going to happen.
Depends upon whether or not Mel Brooks can pull the strings.
I'm thinking we might we have a better chance of seeing Spaceballs on Broadway.
It won't be the same without John Candy.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the problem, was that John Candy died, and that just kind of took the wind out of their sails. I had heard Bill Pullman died, but obviously I'm wrong.
I think you're thinking about Bill Paxton.
No, I'd heard Bill Pullman died too, but that
rumors of Bill Pullman's death have been widely exaggerated.
That might have been one of those internet rumors that people suffer from on occasion.
Oh, the ones that post them shouting "You're lying," hon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, on the 17th of November is the birthday of another honorary mention, Ernie Hudson, who played Stuart Owens in Torchwood Miracle Day, but everyone else remembers him as Winston Zedmore in Ghostbusters. Winston. Ernie's doing sporadic acting at this point, acting in episodes in 3 series this year: APB, Twin Peaks, and Angie Tribeca. By the way, the story of Ernie Hudson, there's kind of a sad bit here. So after Ghostbusters in '85, you know that they made this cartoon called The Real Ghostbusters, in which had all the characters and everything. Ernie Hudson actually had to audition for the role of Winston Zedmore.
And they still didn't give it to him?
To Arsenio Hall.
Jeez.
And when Arsenio backed off to do the Arsenio Hall show, he still didn't get it.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
How is it that you could be that other people are going, yeah, they make a better you than you?
Mm-hmm.
That's a horrible
maybe
thing.
he just doesn't have quite the audio chops, maybe, but I kind of doubt it. He's been a long time enough actor at this point. I'm pretty sure he had it if he wanted it.
Could it be a behind-the-scenes attitude issue, like he's difficult to work with?
It might be. By the way, he
could be not as likely though.
So
what was that, Randy?
He turned 72.
Turned 72
this year. Yeah. So happy birthday, Bill. Happy birthday, Ernie.
Actually, one last note on Ernie. Another role I absolutely adore him in is the police officer in The Crow.
I never really saw The Crow.
Oh. He's pretty much the father figure for one of the other main characters.
Yeah, I couldn't get over the fact that it depressed me because Brandon Lee died making it.
I get the feel, but it's still a really genuinely good movie.
Yeah, I just
and he's really good in it. So
Anyway.
He's also one of the saving graces of the movie Congo, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Congo. Ugh.
Anyway, moving on. From an honorary mention to an actual big name would be Jacqueline Hill, although this one is posthumous, who played Barbara Wright, one of the first companions way back when. She would have been 88, but died at 1993 at 83. And, of course, her role has been picked up by alternate people, both in Big Finish and in Adventures in Space and Time, and now Big Finish versions of those, too, so...
So what, 1993 was 5 years ago?
Did I do a typo there?
Oh, yeah, cause no, the 88 versus 83 is definitely wrong, yeah.
Yeah, which way did I go with that? You just have to point out that I typoed, didn't you? Because now I got to look it up to make sure I give people correct information and slow down the whole production. Gee, thanks, guys. It was 63 when she died in 1993. So that was a typo on my part. Just slowing us down.
Ooh, down.
63. You happy, guys?
No, ever.
I'm always happy.
Moving on to the 19th of December is the birthday of another companion, Matthew Waterhouse, who played Adric. And he's still alive, and he turned 56.
Matthew's alive, Adric's not.
Although you can hardly tell from the audios.
Matthew's not really acting anymore, but he is really busy on Big Finish, and he's a big name on the convention circuit. Most of the pictures I found of Matthew Waterhouse is him posing for people at conventions. So,
he's loving the fans at least.
Is he wearing a badge for mathematical excellence?
No, that got destroyed. Remember?
Yeah, true.
Actually, they had a backup. Apparently.
Anyway, happy birthday, Matthew. Going to the 20th of December, and this one is kind of an honorable mention, kind of not, because it's Jacqueline Pierce. Chasine in The Two Doctors, Cardinal Alistra in the War Doctor Chronicles, but is best known for playing Servalan in both the original and Big Finish version of Blake 7. Jacqueline turned 74 today. Happy birthday, Jacqueline. Other than working in both Blake 7 and Doctor Who lines for Big Finish, Jacqueline seems to be retired. She's not appeared on the big or small screen since 2006. So, if you can retire, you can. The thing is, back in the 70s when she did Servalan, she was kind of a sex symbol, and she's 74 now, so I think she tries to stay off of camera. But she doesn't want to ruin that aspect of her for people that still watch classic Blake 7. I heard a quote from her, and apparently she was very proud of being the masturbatory fantasy for an entire generation. And she's pretty much quoted as saying that.
Oh my.
Yeah, kind of my thought when I read that. I'm like, wow, really? And you said that for an interview. Wow. All right, so...
Vixie just put an O face in the chat.
She said it, not me. Anyway, that's it for our birthdays. We will be skipping birthdays in our next podcast in order to concentrate on the episode itself, but I will bring more of that up later. We will move on to episode news, and as there's not a current episode, we're going pretty much to future episode news.
Okay. So we've got a very slightly updated synopsis for the upcoming Christmas episode, Twice Upon a Time.
It's especially interesting, not for what it says, but for what it doesn't say.
Alright, so let's get down to it. 2 doctors stranded in a forbidding snowscape, refusing to face regeneration. A British Army captain seemingly destined to die in the First World War, but taken from the trenches to play his part in the Doctor's story. In the final chapter of the 12th Doctor's epic adventure, he must face his past to decide the future. Along the way, he realizes the resilience of humanity, discovering hope in his darkest frozen moment. It is the end of an era, but the Doctor's journey is only just beginning.
Okay. So, if you guys remember the last thing we had, what's missing from this new synopsis?
Bill.
No.
Well, technically she is.
But she wasn't in the last one either.
Before, wasn't it all about like being a Wedding of River song remake?
No.
Where are you getting that from?
I don't know. You gotta remember, Bill has been on finals track for the last 2-3 weeks.
The original synopsis definitely says shit about all of time happening at once.
I am looking back to find the original synopsis and reading it to you guys, because apparently you can't remember. Okay. The original Twice Upon a Time synopsis, back posted when we reviewed it on the 6th of December, was 2 doctors stranded in an Arctic snowscape refusing to face regeneration. Enchanted glass people stealing their victims from frozen time. And a World War I captain destined to die in the battlefield but taken to the trenches to play his part in the Doctor's story.
I was going to say, that's actually mentioned
that
in
must
one
be
of the later
that must
episodes.
be a second synopsis, because that's not the one I remember. But the one I remember was from like 2 or 3 months ago.
I remember that one.
I remember that synopsis. Now that
it.
you reminded me, the glass people thing. Why'd they suddenly cut that? Did they actually cut it out of the story?
I don't know. I don't know if that was a mistake or not. But
was it a mistake, or was it like such a bad idea that they actually cut it out of the script altogether?
I think it might just be that it wasn't intended to be one of the selling points, or that it's actually a minor part of the story.
I think that's more of the case. I think this is going to be more of a character drama rather than an invasion story.
Especially considering the last time that they sold an entire Christmas special on the monster and everyone hated how poorly it was CGI'd and...
The snowman?
Yeah.
Alright, so speaking of which, Matt mentioned them taking the monster possibly out of the episode. Well, that takes us to the new clip that was released where the Doctor and his companions are escaping in the first Doctor's TARDIS.
Yay, segues.
Yay, segues! But as we can see in this new clip, time is in fact frozen, and we do see the other Peri Capaldi's TARDIS being abducted or stolen.
By something.
By something. We don't see the glass people, but we do see the frozen time as the snowflakes around their characters are frozen. I don't know if Matt can grab a screenshot of that or something.
I'm paging through and I see it being dangled in the air.
Yeah, it's just you just see them dangling in the air, and they're actually pretty distracting in that scene. So.
Well, I mean, I see the TARDIS dangling in the air. Oh, there's a spaceship.
There's the spaceship, and then I think it pans back to the characters running over to the first Doctor's TARDIS. And as it pans over to them, you can see that the snowflakes are just hanging in the air. They're not actually moving.
Bill also makes the comment that the windows are too small.
Also, you also get the same kind of lack of... Well, you get that same broken time sound that we heard for Clara.
Broken time?
Yeah, that same kind of doom sound when they steal Clara out of time and they freeze her in space.
Okay.
You know, that's a possibility. Maybe the Doctor's getting punished for what he did with Clara.
Could be.
Which would be nice. That would be an
interesting comeuppance, yeah.
Mind you, that's just a theory, folks.
A Doctor Who theory.
I was gonna say
thanks for watching.
Matt Pat.
Oh yeah, I'll make Matt Pat references left and right because I watch that guy all the time.
Well, when they make new content, yeah.
I just binged like 8 of his episodes, so I'm pretty sure I'm caught up now.
For me, it's I'm subscribed, so I'll just log into YouTube. It's like, yay, new from film theory or game theory, and I look at it. Do I really want to watch this now? Yeah, I want to watch this now. Hey, it's a new Gravity Falls theory. I'll watch that.
Well, And speaking of theories and of the missing information from the original synopsis, we go to our next video clip, which has the original synopsis listed. If you look in that one, enchanted glass, people stealing their victims from frozen time. So we do have that significant sentence there.
It's like a Christmas song. Enchanted glass, people stealing their victims from frozen time.
What Christmas songs do you listen to?
It could work.
Too goddamn many with freaking working in food.
Let's have a Patrick Swayze Christmas, everybody.
You're still not bad compared to the fact that I used to work a place that had its own jingle that it played on the speakers like every 5 to 7 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah, Menards.
I still hear the Menards jingle in my sleep. I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if I don't turn 80, go senile, have all memory wiped from my brain, except for I'll be in some home drooling, going, "You save big money, you save big money," because that'll be it. I'll be like fucking Rain Man.
You don't think you'll just be lying in your adult diaper going wee oo wee oo.
If that was supposed to be the Doctor Who theme, Bill, that was pretty weak.
I got it. It was bad, but I got it.
My voice like cracked in the middle of it for some reason.
It's either that or I'll be there going da 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 da.
Oh God, I just saw her and I just remembered. I'm sorry, I'm going through the video a little bit on the page we're currently on, and I just remembered who was directing this. And I'm like, oh, that's right, it's her.
Yeah.
At least this is gonna be directed well. Thank God.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least Moffat's a miracle worker.
Yeah.
Right.
At least it's directorial miracle workers back on this one. Thank goodness.
Yep.
And I'm really interested to watch David Bradley actually play the Doctor instead of playing
someone playing the Doctor. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At least Menards didn't ruin Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra for you.
Speaking of William Hartnell, I was when I watched the new clip, I kind of realized, hey, it's going to be a woman of color in the first Doctor's TARDIS. Kind of glad we don't get to hear Hartnell's reaction to that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit too old-timey. I'm not sure how well he'd take that.
Not well.
Nope. Oh.
Yeah. Different era. Different
old people are racist.
Mm-hmm. Did we have more
put
on
a
this?
hashtag in front of that, Matt?
Let's not say that we did.
And if you're an old person listening to this podcast, Matt can be reached at.
I'll put it in our YouTube tags.
Matt's address.
No.
Did we have more on this link?
I think we rambled quite a bit.
There's some interviews at the bottom.
Yeah.
I actually didn't see the interviews. I just watched the clip.
The video.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some interviews like with David Bradley about,
they're pretty long ones.
How do you get the call to play the first Doctor? And yes, it did start with Adventure of Space and Time.
Mm-hmm.
And that Mark Gatiss was the one that tapped him on the shoulder to play that, and of course he did wonderful. So when they wanted to bring him back, he became on everyone's lips on whether he was going to play the Doctor.
I love how they ask Mark Gatiss how he got the casting call. I'm like, gee, how does the person who's more or less sitting at a table with the person in charge of the show every week, how does he get cast in an episode? I want to know.
How did Gatiss get the call? Well, let's see. I was in the back room with Moffat, sucking his cock when...
Oh, jeez.
Wow. You thought my old people are racist comment was bad.
Or kissing his ass.
All of a sudden we get a call from Mark Gaddis's lawyers. So what's this you said about our client?
No, it's just the fact that he's been basically Stephen Moffat's lackey or toady for both the run of Doctor Who that's been Moffat and Sherlock. I mean, technically, I think Sherlock is supposed to be Gaddis's thing, but it's basically everyone thinks it's Moffat and Gaddis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so,
I actually like Mark Gatiss as an actor. I find him to be, he plays sinister really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's so as an actor. He's a better actor than he is a scriptwriter.
I haven't heard his master yet.
Oh wait, he plays the master?
He's the Unbound Master.
Oh, okay.
Under the name of Sam Kisgart.
We haven't really gotten a name for Gaddis's character in this, have we?
We have like the officer or the lieutenant or the captain or something.
Yeah, but we never.
I keep forgetting. Yeah. I think they gave a name maybe at one point, but I keep forgetting what it was.
I don't think they've given him not beyond a rank.
It's Justin Timberlake.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Gaddis is basically playing an early version of the Master, disguised as a World War I soldier?
Ooh, that could be interesting. I think Mark Gatiss could make a good Master. I mean, he already plays one in Big Finish. I mean, now I have to listen to his Big Finish Master.
Even looking at his role in Sherlock, I see him very similar to something like the Jacoby Master or whatever. And I still haven't listened to the new box set, by the way, so I don't know. I don't know that much about the Jacoby Master. But from what we've seen of him on screen, I could see Gaddis doing something very similar.
Anyway, so then they of course talked to Pearl about how she got asked back, etc. Not really, didn't really say much about that, just that she was really excited to get the call. And then, of course, more of the typical BS from Moffat.
Typical BS.
We'll just skim over the Moffat interview.
Yeah,
and his trolley grin.
I can't trust anything he says.
Yep. Just look at that trolley grin. You can't trust this face.
And speaking of Moffat BS, Aaron.
Segway!
Alright. Alright, so I actually forgot what this article was about. It's Stephen Moffat on the tone of Twice Upon a Time. That's right, I was reading through this and I was just like, I had to look up what coda was. Now I know what a coda is, and soon it will be forgotten. Alright, so Stephen Moffat has this to say about the tone of the show. This episode is somewhere between a coda and drumroll. It's a coda to the time of the 12th Doctor, played by Peri Capaldi, coda being an end piece of a musical piece, and part of a musical piece, the denouement, if you will, and a drumroll to usher in the 13th Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker. So
that's a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. It's basically, it is. It's
Thanks for telling us zero, Stephen.
Approaching it, one issue I had was that the Doctor Falls was the end of Peri Capaldi's Doctor. And he basically goes on to talk about how the Doctor made his... how is the Doctor going to make peace with his impending doom? Which is something we've been asking and known about for, like, forever now. But he goes over and talks about how the Doctor makes his, his big speech about how, he's going to sacrifice himself. He follows through with that. He sacrifices his life, but he doesn't die right away. So now he's got all this time. He's postponing his regeneration, and he's got all this time to figure out what happens afterwards. He's essentially been killed. So
I really hope that the next Doctor, when it's time for her to regenerate, is just like, you know what? I'm tired of beating around the bush every fucking regeneration. I'm just going to regenerate now. Like the 9th Doctor did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess it's done. It's time for me to regenerate. I wonder if I'll be a woman next time too.
Wonder if I'll finally be Ginger. Boosh.
Oh, speaking of Ginger, have you seen the latest pictures of David Tennant?
No.
He has dyed his hair ginger.
For what?
I don't know. We don't know for what. He was doing one of those talk shows. It's what is it? Not the News or something like that they have in on BBC. He was the guest host for something like that, and everyone saw him with this ginger hair, and the internet went nuts.
He's finally ginger. He's finally ginger.
Okay, I'm seeing some stuff from September about that.
Oh my god, that is very orange.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap!
Is that before they filmed JJ season 2?
If you're looking at the, hang on, it's let's see, it's this picture.
I see the words "chump" behind him.
Yeah, that's the one we're looking at. That's the real one, not the
recolored stuff that someone apparently has been playing with.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my.
That's yeah. So the one with the chump behind him, that's from the article that's the show.
Digital Spy, I believe, is the sources that I'm looking at.
Yep. Have I Got News for You is the show.
Yeah.
And he was the host, and he just showed up with that hair, and the internet went nuts.
Okay.
This webpage has frames, hon. Like a weird window within a window thing going on.
Apparently it was for Good Omens with Michael Sheen.
But yeah, the internet went nuts about it, so I just thought I'd bring that up when you did the whole "Am I Ginger" thing.
Anyway.
Anyway, where were we?
Yeah, back on track.
Was there anything more on that Moffat article?
Moffat just bullshitting about Dr. Falls.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just filling empty space. It's basically he's verbalizing everything that we felt at the end of the Dr. Falls.
Okay. So
he's telling us nothing new. He's just reverberating garbage just to fill in time while he's getting his episode done.
Okay.
So that means music.
So moving on to season 11 news, and Tim, I believe that's yours.
Yes, there has been a tweet by Olafur Arnolds, the composer of Broadchurch, and he says, "Okay, the rumors were fun for a while, but I think it's time to clarify. I am not doing Doctor Who. Thank you very much. Upside down smiley face." So, if people thought the composer of Broadchurch was gonna follow with everyone,
with like everybody else that Chibnall was bringing to the show,
I remember someone, I forget if it was Cultbox or who, reported that they thought he was going to be.
Yeah, everybody did think he was going to be because Chibnall was taking most of his staff from Broadchurch to the new Who production line, and then shortly thereafter they posted that he had fired Murray Gold. So,
yeah, I think we heard that for sure he fired Murray Gold. I don't think we officially know for sure that they were going to hire this guy, but apparently he's not.
No, it was rumor mill. That's why we didn't post on it. It was rumor mill, but it was a very big rumor mill, and one I had thought myself.
It was a very plausible rumor mill.
It was a very logical deduction. It's just wrong.
Apparently, it's wrong. He's not been asked.
Either that, or
apparently
that,
or BBC apparently has bigger ideas for who to replace him with.
And that's a good point. It's entirely possible that they're following in the Moffat tradition of just BSing, because that's the thing to do nowadays.
Oh, that's true too.
Cough, cough. It's not Khan. That was a terrible cough, cough, but whatever. Is that the end of that article?
Yeah, pretty much. That's just the primary portion of that article is to.
All right, so a little while ago we were talking about Mark Gatiss, and here's a big surprise. Shortly after Series 10 ended, we said Mark Gatiss came out with something like he didn't know he probably wasn't going to be continuing on with Doctor Who. Well, now we have the official news brought to us by an interview with Lorraine, whatever Lorraine is, that Gatiss is not going to be part of Series 11. That's not to say that he'll never do Doctor Who again. It's possible, but he's not going to be part of the current writing team.
Kind of figure as much.
that was actually it was an interview Lorraine was doing with Gaddis. But the thing is that it's a weird position for him because he doesn't know anything about what's going on with Doctor Who. And he mentions, about that it's a position he's not been in since 2004. So if you think about that, that is a little... Even when he wasn't writing, he knew what was going on because he was doing stuff with Moffat all the time.
Right.
He was, sitting in the break room of Sherlock or whatever, going through stuff, and Moffat would be like, "I'm planning on doing this with Doctor Who. I'm going to make it all about River's Song." And if Gaddis had a sign at that point, he would have stood up and smacked Moffat. Who's making crap loads of noise?
Someone's blowing their nose.
Thomas, mute your mic when you do that.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Sorry, it was your thing that was it was either you or Tim was lit up like yours was lit up like the Christmas tree when I went to Discord, but yeah. Remember, before you're going to make noise, mute your mic, guys.
Background noise bad.
Background noise bad. Fire bad. Cookies good.
Bad.
Anyway, so yeah, he's heard about this stuff and now he's out of the loop and it's kind of unnerving for him. Well, sucks to be you, Gaddis. You're done.
Yeah, you're not part of this anymore. Goodbye.
All right. So, speaking of people leaving Doctor Who, and this one's a little awkward because normally when there are interviews, they include the important quotes in the article, and I didn't think I'd have to watch a video for this sort of article.
Bill, I put video clip
where?
Right in the sentence.
Where?
Look at it, Capaldi, on why it's the right time to read. Video clip. Do I need to make that in large print with like flashing letters or something?
Or at least on a second line. I would think that was just part of the title otherwise.
Oh, Bill. Things in parentheses are usually not part of the title. Mm-hmm. Especially when they're right at the end.
I know, but you left it as part of the link, which says it's part of the title.
I didn't mean to do that one, actually. I think that was a
yeah, that was technically your bad on that one, Ryan.
But I do apologize for that. And apparently Peter Capaldi talks about why it's the right time to leave. I thought he had talked about this a few months ago about how he just thought the time was right, and also related to the whole crew and everything leaving. But I don't know if there's anything new here. How long is this?
It's about a minute.
It's a minute?
Bullshit for a minute.
Do I need to play the do I need to play the intermission music from Holy Grail?
I take it Bill isn't doing his job of bullshitting for a minute. Did he just leave to go listen to this?
I think that's what he just did.
Oh, man.
In other news, I've now killed Bill.
Yes.
The annoying part is most of the article is not Capaldi at all. And what I heard of him
that's what he did. He completely just abandoned it and went to go listen to it.
Well, you said you were going to bullshit for a minute.
No, I asked you to bullshit for a minute.
Oh.
Because it was your article, I was going to leave you to bullshit and listen to it, but no.
It doesn't seem to actually say anything. The majority of it doesn't... Oh, wait. Okay, apparently the last 5 seconds are Capaldi.
Jesus.
It doesn't matter because you can't hear his voice over the loud music in the video anyway. So I don't know why he
flip table. Why did we have this article?
Yeah, the video is.
I didn't listen to the clip either. I just figured that would be the.
How about next time we include something like this? We watch the clip first.
All right. So predict the ratings contest.
Yes, it's that time again. And thank you for spoiling the entire article for me, Bill. I'm just going to flip table and go home now. So, the last 2 years, BBC has done this actually, I think it's Doctor Who News.net has done this predict the ratings contest where you, the viewers, can predict the rating that, as reported by Barb, so it's the UK only rating, to the nearest 10,000 viewers, i.e. 2 decimal places. So it's going to be something million viewers, and you've got to figure out what that somethings are. And as it was, the ratings for 2015 was 7.69 million. The ratings for 2016 was 7.83 million.
And 2013 should be the most relevant because that was a regeneration as well, although it's definitely a different viewing environment than it was at that time.
What was that episode?
That was Time of the Doctor, I believe.
Yeah, and just in the interest of making this relevant for you, do they even have that information? Broadcast and reception. 8.3 million. The final viewing figure, so the Barb ones was 11.14 million. So that was going from Matt Smith to Capaldi. It was also the most viewed Doctor Who episode ever. So that's the information you can have to make your predictions, folks. What's it gonna be? You can enter the competition by sending the following details to compxmasratings@doctorwhonews.net with your name and preferred email address, your country of entry. This is open worldwide, but you're only guessing on the UK's ratings. Full details will be requested only if you are the winner. You can guess the final viewing figure to the nearest 10,000, e.g., like I said, X.XXM. Your guess at the final position in the chart. Mind you, I think on that particular day, the Doctor Who Christmas special in 2013 was number 1. 2015's was number 8. And 2016's was number 9. So you can try to figure out where it is from there. The competition closes at 8 o'clock GMT on the 26th of December. So 8 a.m. Greenwich Meridian.
You can watch it first.
You can watch it first, but remember, after that, you're only getting overnights. And even the overnights won't be out by then, so you can just guess.
Yeah.
1 entry will be accepted per person. It is open worldwide, as I mentioned. The Barb final figures are expected in early 2018. They will contact the winner once they have been published. The prize is a copy of the complete 10th series and Twice Upon a Time releases on DVD or Blu-ray. They will confirm the format with the winner at the time of notification. So there you go. There's a contest. See if you want it, folks. Guess the rating. Okay, from there we go from contests and auctions to media releases. And Aaron.
All right, and we've got a big ass media release here for Germany. That's from one site in Germany. You can get the Doctor Who 7th Doctor Special Collector's Edition and a 17-disc deluxe box set. Let me see here. I believe that is Blu-ray. They don't specify.
And I can't tell based on the box either.
Yeah, they do say that it is region-free, although that's... I've been told repeatedly that there's no such thing as region-free DVDs, but it could be this.
They are DVDs. They're not Blu-ray.
Okay. Yes.
And if somebody told you there is no such thing as region-free coding, they're wrong.
Yeah, they're very wrong. That's how some of us that are fans of Tokusatsu can actually get those ported over.
Yeah, it's technically there is a region code that is a universal region code.
Which I think is 0, isn't it? Or that's at least what people refer to it
0.
as.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's region code 0. But that just plays anywhere, so.
Mm-hmm. And actually, some places will actually make official releases with region code 0 just because they know fans elsewhere might want it. Occasionally. Depends on the production house. Anyway.
Some are just against region-based censorship.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, so Region 0 is not an official setting. Discs that bear the Region 0 symbol either have no flag set or have Regions 1 through 6 flags set. Region 0 is commonly referred to as region free, especially when talking about DVD and Blu-ray disc players.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so even Blu-ray has Region 0 now.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I like how that article has a link for more information, and that link is entirely in German.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, if you scroll down, there's English.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, how do you think I got the fact that it's all DVDs? I was at that site looking at the...
Okay, I thought you saw something in the pictures that I didn't. But yeah, it does say DVD down at the bottom.
All right, so this is going to cost you about 150 euros. Anyone care to translate that into American dollars?
I actually have to look up the translation at the moment.
Now you go ahead and do that. Now continue on with this. This also includes an interview with Andrew Cartmel, who was the writer at the time, I believe.
So a euro is about $1.20 right now. So, so you add in shipping, it's gonna cost you probably $200, a little over.
Yeah, I was about to say probably at that point it's gonna be almost close to $200.
There are more discs than Seventh Doctor televised stories.
Yeah, but there's probably some behind the scenes and making of discs.
Right, exactly.
Kind of yeah, the final disc is like an exclusive bonus disc.
How to make a ? Umbrella.
Would not be surprised.
There's a Silver Nemesis Extended Edition.
Yep.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
It's Silver Nemesis, but even more boring.
It's more silver of the Nemesis.
Oh, there's also a Battlefield Extended Cut.
That I wouldn't mind seeing, but I like Battlefield a lot better than I like Silver Nemesis. And I know I'm in the minority of that because most fans think the Battlefield's the weakest of the season 26, but
I've heard good things about Battlefield, although it is a little silly at times.
The thing is, weakest of season 26 is literally saying nothing because that's just a great season.
It is one of the greatest seasons in Doctor Who history.
Even though some people rate that as among the worst episodes of Classic Who, but I don't understand those people.
I don't know. We'd have to watch and review it.
Well, hey, we've got a lot open in the following season, and Bill and I need to talk about that.
Yeah, this is 24 hours of bonus materials, with also German and English audio, as well as English with German subtitles. Yeah, wow, crazy.
Yeah,
an awesome box set, in short.
An awesome box set, $200 box set. So I'm not getting it, but
yeah.
But if you want all of your Sylvester McCoy in one go, and you don't mind buying from Germany,
I'm wondering how much of the bonus material is in English.
I love the fact that they're doing this. I just wish some of the the companies that are doing the more American stuff and like that to entertain, etc. would do the same thing. Release Doctor in a compiled box set, especially 6 and 7, who
actually have no reason not to be complete.
5, 6, and 7. You could all do this with 5, 6, and 7, and it would be beautiful collector's box sets.
I wouldn't mind splitting 4 in half if they did a collection of 4.
4-1, 4-2, yeah.
There's enough 4.
3-2 for 2.5 seasons each, yeah.
But yeah, the German distributor's really been on point these past couple years.
Yeah, that's crazy how actually really good they're treating Doctor Who over there.
Yep. I would love box sets like this in the US. It would be absolutely beautiful. But no, we have to steal theirs.
Right. All right, Big Finish.
Yep, Big Finish news. Tim.
Big Finish. We have Big Finish news. Out now is The War Master, starring Derek Jacobi.
I don't know if you were purposely trying to say that name wrong or not.
Oh, is that wrong? Is it Jacobi?
Jacobi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is why
we're aware of it because we've been aware of his master for a while. But you got the first name right.
Mm-hmm. It's like you can find out what he got up to in Time War in The War Master. Only the good
die young. Sorry, I watched way too much Red Dwarf.
Four tales of terror await, starring one of the most unstoppable megalomaniacs versus the most evil race in creation. Who will get caught in the crossfire? We have Beneath the Viscoid by Nicholas Briggs. On the ocean planet Gardiza, deep beneath the Viscoid, a mysterious capsule is recovered from the Time War, and an equally mysterious stranger found within. The Doctor's reputation precedes him, even here. But can he be trusted? We have The Good Master by Janine H. Jones. The Time War rages around Arking, a planet serving as a sanctuary for the sick and injured. But Arking is protected by a mysterious powerful force, a force the Master will stop at nothing to harness, even if time itself is against him. The Skyman by James Goss. When his new companion decides to save a planet, the Master indulges this most futile of requests. Materializing on a primitive agrarian world, but the strangers quickly find their place in it, until fallout from the war invades their happy paradise. And then there's The Heavenly Paradigm by Guy Adams. With his plans approaching fruition, the Master travels to Stamford Bridge in the 1970s, a location he believes might hold the key to his success. But what terrible secret lurks under the stairs of number 24 Marigold Lane? And what sacrifices will the Master make in the name of ultimate victory? Da-da-da!
So you're telling me, Randy, that you expect the Master to meet death in the groin in this one?
I don't know. That's how Series 8 of Red Dwarf ended.
Mm-hmm.
Something had to... But actually, the original is a Billy Joel song, but still, when I hear that, all I can think of is frickin' Arnold Rimmer, so...
And his head doesn't glimmer?
Shut up, Matt. You're not too far for me to drive and kick you in the balls.
So, Only the Good is available today on £23 for CD or £20 on download.
And that's probably the same in US bucks, but don't quote me on that.
Also out now is Countermeasures Series 2. And they're going to face the Great Intelligence and the Yeti. And there's 4 new stories. First is The Splintered Man by Roland Moore. When a Spanish scientist kills himself in an explosion at a secret test facility, countermeasures are called in to salvage anything they can from the wreckage. As Rachel is reunited with an old flame, she finds herself drawn into the heart of a mystery. What exactly was Dr. Javier Santos working on, and who exactly is trying to prevent its discovery? The Ship of the Sleepwalkers by Christopher Hatherall. The Countermeasures team wake on a luxury cruise with no knowledge of how and when they got aboard. Who has brought them here and why? As their investigations deepen, they find themselves in the middle of an international conspiracy, with enemies on both sides. How can they escape when they can't even trust each other? My Enemy's Enemy by Robert Kahn and Tom Selinsky. Glamorous international arms dealer Lady Suzanne Clare has come to town and is offering herself into the hands of countermeasures. The price, her own safety. But can their former nemesis ever really be trusted? With one of their own side seemingly working for the enemy, the race is on to prevent a disaster. But who are they really fighting? And what does Lady Clare really want? Time of the Intelligence by Andy Frankham Alien. A strange voice is interrupting TV broadcasts across the capital, and bear-like creatures are raiding factories, stealing equipment, and killing guards. The Great Intelligence and his army of Yeti have returned, and there's only one team that can stop them. Familiar with their foe, Sir Toby calls on the help of Edward Travers to defeat the menace. But without the Doctor to help them, can the Intelligence ever be stopped?
I'm really wondering if that one is set before or after the subway incident, or the underground incident.
I don't know. We won't know until we'd actually listen to this. And
right.
I'm wondering...
We haven't listened to the new Countermeasures Series 1, much less the Series 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how many arms dealers in real life could be described as glamorous.
Depends.
Also, if it's happening after the Yeti one, that's damn close to the formation of UNIT. That's like months from the formation of UNIT.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So Countermeasures is running out of time of being Countermeasures.
Now, coming soon in January 2018 is the Fourth Doctor Series 7 from the main range with the Sons of Kaldor by Andrew Smith. And
by the looks of it, that's going to be a sequel to the Robots of Death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks pretty cool.
That was a good one. I'd like some more of that. Yes, please.
Andrew Smith. Finding themselves in a seemingly deserted spaceship on an alien world, the Doctor and Leela stumble into some familiar foes. The Vok robots from the planet Kaldor, and something else, something outside, trying to get in. Reviving the robots Kaldor and Commander from hibernation, the travelers discover that they found themselves in the middle of a civil war. The ship was hunting the Sons of Kaldor, an armed resistance group working with alien mercenaries to initiate regime change on their home world. But now the Sons of Kaldor may have found them. The Doctor and Leela will have to pick a side, or die.
I remember Kaldor. Then they replaced it with Coles.
I heard a cry.
Crickets.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was trying to think. Was it Kaldor the name of Krypton's like twin planet or something?
Oh, I don't remember the name of that planet, although I probably should.
There was Kandor, the city in the bottle.
Well, shouldn't that be Daxam? Yeah.
No, actually it was the city, the bottled city.
Oh, okay.
That's Kandor.
Kandor, thank you. Close, but no cigar.
Very close. L. Fernan.
And we have The Cromarsh Experiment by David Llewellyn. When attacked on an alien world, Leela falls unconscious, only to waken another time, another place. She is in the Cromarsh Institute on Earth in London in 1978, and everyone was calling her Dr. Marshall. They tell her the world she has known is but a fantasy, a delusion, and that this place is the one that is real. Surrounded by familiar faces on unfamiliar people, Leela knows what is true and what is false. But how long can she believe when everyone around her says it's a dream? What's really happening here?
Just wait till the episode where she wakes up and people are calling her Louise Jameson and that she's an actress.
That happened to Bernice Summerfield.
This seems like a tried and true premise for a story.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
The Mind Runners by John Dorney. It used to be fun, mind running, hopping into the heads of total strangers to see what they saw, feel what they felt. But one by one, the Mind Runners are dying in a wave of suicides, and no one on the planet Caldera knows why. The Doctor, Leela, and K9 arrive in the city that covers all of this dying world as it prepares to evacuate its people, and they immediately find themselves involved in a mystery. Who or what is responsible for the wave of death? Is it the motorized cult known as the Digitals? The enigmatic Mr. Shift? Or did all the victims attempt to run the Night Mind, the demonic consciousness of legend that is so twisted and evil that it drives mad all who touch it? The TARDIS crew are about to find out.
I know this one. They're in a simulation.
No, I was going to say this one's Inception, the audio.
Well, actually, judging by the cover, it looks like they're about to run into an early model of RoboCop 2.
Again, no. Inception, Matt, Inception.
RoboCop 2. I see that face on a TV screen.
From Wake, Rattle, and Roll. If anyone got that reference.
Oh God, I remember that show.
And then we have The Demon Rises by John Dorney. A killer has been uncovered, but the mystery is far from solved. The Doctor, Leela, K9, and their friends are on the run, pursued from all sides. All the clues point to one place, but getting there alive may prove impossible. Something horrific is happening on Caldera, and it has been happening for longer than anyone could possibly have realized. Now every life on the planet is at stake, bar one. The dark secret at the heart of this world is about to be revealed.
So that sounds like it's a sequel to the previous episode.
Mm-hmm. The covers also convey that a bit, too.
Mm-hmm. And it mentions K9, but there's no mention of John Leeson. Which worries me a little.
So it's the Fourth Doctor Adventure Series 7A is available for pre-order now at £25 on CD or £20 on download. Or you can pick up all 4 of these adventures as individual pre-order downloads at £8.99. And finally, we have
John Leeson is in the cast.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you, Tim. I was trying to get that before you got moved.
One last hurrah for Jago and Lightfoot. But is going to have an adventure, one final episode from Big Finish, released in May 2018, and it's titled Jago and Lightfoot Forever. It features Jago finding out that his friend Lightfoot has gone missing, and going on a trip in search of him. The episode will also feature cameos by Colin Baker as the Sixth Doctor, Louise Jameson as Leela, Jamie Newell as Aubrey, and Rowena Cooper as Queen Victoria. Sadly, as we all know, Trevor Baxter passed away last year. But the character of Lightfoot will appear in the episode courtesy of existing tapes from a library of 60 days of previous studio recordings.
So they're basically going to chef him for this.
They're going to try and piece him back together from their existing tapes and one last time to give him a goodbye, essentially.
They have about 60 hours. Is it 60 hours or 60 days worth of footage?
It almost
60 days of previous studio.
I'm wondering if it might be a Shada situation, not the circumstances causing it, but in terms of what they have versus what they don't. And
Maybe.
If they had to rewrite around that.
Possibly, but we'll see how it goes. We may review this one just to
say farewell. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know what they're gonna do for Jago and Lightfoot and Robin.
I don't know. People are guessing it might turn out to be Jago and Strax from now on, and I'm hoping not.
Oh, yeah. Let's not.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that doesn't quite mesh.
That wraps up our Big Finish news. Bill.
Yes. So gonna keep this one brief. Did you ever want to have a regeneration effect that made your face on your Facebook profile completely unrecognizable? Well, if you do, then you can go to the Facebook camera effects page and get a special regeneration filter for your profile picture. And it might also work for other things because I don't know all the new Facebook shit that Facebook does nowadays. But that's about it for that one. It's does it say how long it'll be up? Not that I see.
So indefinitely.
Possibly.
Okay.
That's about it.
All right. So we're going to our other sci-fi and fantasy news at this point. And if you haven't heard this news, you must be living under a rock. Shortly after our last podcast, it was announced that the Walt Disney Corporation spent $52 billion to purchase most of the assets of 21st Century Fox. And including that is basically 20th Century Fox, the film studio, and all of its intellectual property. Most of Fox's cable networks, including FX and the like. The things that Fox Broadcasting retains is basically their sports and news lines, as well as the Fox Air Broadcast Network, as Disney cannot legally acquire that, already being the owner of ABC. Now, what this means is both good and bad. The good part is, of course, is the fact, and it has been directly announced by Disney head Bob Iger, is that the Fantastic Four license, as well as X-Men and Deadpool, are all going to be rolled into the MCU somehow. You can expect when this news passed, there was a huge-ass party at Marvel Studios. We're talking
the family's almost together again.
Yeah, I think the only thing that are outstanding is the rights to make a Hulk movie and a few Spider-Man villains that are still owned by Sony.
I think
which
Namor
they could still ask for
apparently
Sony.
She-Hulk are a bit iffy with Universal, but
Universal seems to capitulate pretty well, though.
Yeah,
although
well, with their deal with Sony too is they could probably throw them a couple extra hundred or a couple extra thousand, and they could easily get the rights borrowed again to do more Spider-Man stuff.
No, they can't.
As Mark Ruffalo says, apparently Universal doesn't like money.
Yeah, or they just have a big, gigantic chip on their shoulder. Either way, they're still not doing anything with those licenses, so they'll expire eventually. But no, Sony is planning on making a Venom movie, so that will put Venom off the buying table for a while unless they make a separate deal. Spider-Man, as far as I can tell, is still licensed to appear in MCU films in his own pieces. So if he's teaming up with the Avengers and stuff, it's cool, but they have to negotiate if there's going to be another for the other Spider-Man movies and separate villains, etc. And they still have access to some. What this also means is that Disney gets access to other Fox licenses, such as Avatar, which is big because Disney was making an Avatar-themed theme park or portion of Disney World down there, and now they have the license to go with it.
I just realized that you're talking Avatar as in Airbender, not James Cameron, right?
No, I mean James
As
Cameron.
in James Cameron, not Airbender.
Did they get both? Are they both?
No, they don't have both.
I thought I saw someone saying it was Airbender, so maybe they were mistaken then.
No, they're crazy.
Okay, so never mind what I was thinking of saying then.
Yep. No, it's James Cameron Avatar.
Okay.
Pandera or whatever the fuck.
I'm pretty sure Paramount or
any
Universal
less
is
of a
the one
shit
that
about
owns the movie rights to Airbender.
Anyway, so the downside of this is the fact that with this particular purchase, Disney becomes a movie behemoth. They're pretty much now the unstoppable juggernaut of movies. And they were already prima donnaing movies. They were banning people for not liking their movies and acting like a bastard, and now they have even more power behind them. The bad news is that Fox also tended to make a lot of smaller budget movies, and that's not the way Disney makes movies. They make a few movies, and they make big budget, big scoring movies. So a lot of these,
they think about them a little harder than WB apparently does.
Yeah, well, we're not talking WB. We're talking Fox. What was it? Fox Spotlight or Fox Showlight or something like that.
Oh, gotcha.
They're low.
The thing that made 30 Days Later, yeah.
Yeah, those low budget art house or indie movie style movies. And Disney's probably going to shut that line down because or Searchlight, that was it.
Searchlight, yeah.
Yeah, and it's and Disney's probably going to shut that down because it's not fitting their theme of movies. They're
they could shut down, or they could move it underneath one of the other massive number of companies they own.
I was going to say Disney had one or two smaller movie labels that they may not have the same business model, but they may be close enough to kind of take over it.
Like Miramax or something.
Mind you, actually Miramax isn't theirs, or it was theirs and now it's not. But they still have Touchstone, as far as I'm aware.
They have Touchstone. Last time I heard they still have Miramax, and I heard about that recently.
I'd heard they'd sold it.
Not that I'm aware of. Actually, I think it might be that Miramax is owned by another company that's owned by Disney.
Anyway.
That might be, yeah.
Anyway, the upside, and this is something I'm personally praying for, ladies and gentlemen, is that the fact that Disney owns 20th Century Fox, and as far as I'm aware, they own the name 20th Century Fox.
Oh.
Which is therefore physically possible for Disney to move their Star Wars franchise back under 20th Century Fox.
Please.
Yeah,
oh my god, you don't know how badly I want that fucking intro in front of those movies.
I have to hum it every time I go to the movies.
Doesn't feel right, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's like a bunch of dead air, and then the Star Wars trumpet, and I'm like sitting there like,
right.
Doesn't feel right not having those drums.
Other than movies, there's another major thing related to this, unless you are about to get to that next.
What is it that you want to say?
Fox and Disney were two of the major shareholders of Hulu.
That was the next thing I was going to say.
Okay, you're going to bring that up next?
Yes,
this gives Disney a controlling interest in it now.
This gives them a majority share of Hulu. Now, part of the reason Disney wanted this and they wanted the Fox library was Disney has been interested in creating their own streaming service to rival Netflix. They want to go head-to-head with Netflix. Now they may not have to make their own streaming service. They can just modify Hulu to serve their needs.
And they could also go to their huge. They could also go to their huge movie library from the other companies they own to just stockpile Hulu.
That's what I meant. They can stockpile it and do whatever Disney needs to do to make it what they want.
They could make their own and run Hulu into the ground the way they ran Blip into the ground.
That's true too.
That's right. They were in charge of Blip.
They were in charge of Blip for like about a year and a half, and they drove that sucker like a rock.
Some people aren't very happy with how they're handling the Star Wars franchise.
And I would also add that they also owned not only Blip, but they also owned Maker, which was a essentially a small-time YouTube company, and they drove that into the dirt too, because pretty much everyone I know of that was on it jumped ship.
Yeah.
So that's
I think it was like they owned Maker and Maker owned Blip or something like that.
Yeah, that was something, because Blip was replaced by Maker Studios.
That's true too. So it's very likely and very probable that Disney will try to make Hulu into something and actually kill Hulu.
I think not.
It's either that or they'll incorporate it into their own streaming service.
They'll
convert it.
Possible.
Yeah, that could be it too.
That it'll go from Hulu to being Disney Stream or or I don't know. I'm trying to think of a parody to do with Mouse.
Well, they may not actually call it Disney Stream. They might call it something else that might be a part of the streaming service. But the streaming service overall would probably be called something different. Because if they're going to have stuff like Gotham on there, they're probably not going to want to call it Disney's Gotham.
And here's the scary part about Gotham. How is that going to work?
Well, there's already rumors flying that they're going to be canceling The Exorcist.
Yeah, but no. Think about this. Disney owns Marvel. Gotham is a DC production and is now currently owned by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, Gotham's a good show. I love Gotham. It's probably one of the better things on Fox right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know. I think that's through a sub-license.
Mm-hmm.
But with this happening, they may opt out of that license.
Yeah, they could possibly opt out of it now, and that would kill the show right where
well,
it is.
Well, here's the other thing.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Because that could be that means that Gotham's going to sit here and go, oh shit, what do we do? Hey, CW, you want a show?
Well, actually, you know what's coming out in March 2018? Sci-Fi Channel is finally releasing their Krypton TV show.
I don't know. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, and either way, it would be a
they would have to wait and see how that goes first.
Yeah. Moving Gotham to Sci-Fi would not be good for Gotham.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
It might be good for Sci-Fi, but it won't be good for Gotham.
Moving it to
are we still calling it Sci-Fi, or is it actually still Sci-Fi?
It's still Sci-Fi.
It's still Sci-Fi, then forget it.
Yeah. Either way, moving it to CW wouldn't be the best thing either. It would take a nosedive in ratings. It would still be one of the most awesome things on the CW, but it would take a budget cut, and all of their actors would have to move to Vancouver.
Any other major points before we move on, since we're kind of behind?
No, that was the major points I had. So that ends our news. There's nothing in the rumor mill.
That means it's time for me to take my headset off for a few minutes.
Yes, it is. As Thomas wants to talk about a spoiler-free or we kill him review of Star Wars Episode 8.
Yeah.
And Aaron, who's been reading all the spoilers, mentions them. She will be in a lot of trouble. As
I will roast you alive if you blurt anything out, Aaron.
And use it like a cream pie.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it brief to avoid wanting to accidentally bring any spoilers up, but basically this went from a movie I didn't really have all that much hype for after the disappointment of The Force Awakens, at least how The Force Awakens has soured on me. And the fact that this is now an annual thing to have Star Wars movies. But when I came out of it, I was just praising the heavens that we got this fucking movie. Because my god, without saying anything, if you don't like The Force Awakens, holy crap, will you love this movie? Because this movie is basically a gigantic middle finger to J.J. Abrams.
Really?
Well, it's a good thing he's coming back for the next episode.
Whoops.
But yeah, obviously can't.
Here, JJ, this is what we did with your trilogy. Go deal with that now.
Oh no!
I mean, hell, this is the movie that got Rian Johnson his own spin-off trilogy to work on after this is all over, so... that said, this has been very divisive, I've seen.
Yes, I've been seeing that. The one thing I have seen is that everyone either really hates it or really loves it.
Yeah, so I've only seen a...
So if
I've
you're
only
a
seen
member
a
of the cult of
handful of
JJ,
people.
you're going to hate this.
Yeah. It's a case of if you love The Force Awakens, you're gonna hate this. If you are kind of iffy or hate Force Awakens, where I'm kind of more of, it's not bad, but there's just so many things that he didn't need to do with it that he did. And this is basically Rian Johnson going, fuck you.
Here's my beast. Eat it.
And yeah, I'm going to see this movie again. Even if it's a month from now, I'm going to see this again.
Okay.
I know that much.
Now, I had seen some reviews of this before it's released, some press reviews and stuff. And one of the complaints I had heard is that about the middle third of the movie is a bit slow. Would you say that's true or not?
I will admit there was some point in the last... God, I don't know. I forget exactly when, but yeah. I didn't really feel the drag too much, but I do remember almost kind of... I didn't have a watch on me, but I almost kind of was like, how much has this movie got left? Because I can remember certain things from the trailers, and I'll be like, okay, so that hasn't happened yet, so where's this going? But not necessarily in a bad way, because when it happens, it's like, oh, okay, now we must be getting close to the end.
I also heard that it suffers a bit from middle movie syndrome. And you know what I
probably.
And the fact that you come out of the movie and you don't feel complete.
Well, to be honest, I know that when I saw The Force Awakens the first time, I had no idea what to make of that movie, because it felt like it's shot so differently to any Star Wars movie prior, and it just, certain things were just like, okay, this is an okay movie, but is it a good Star Wars movie? And then I grew to like it, and now I've kind of veered back the other way, and it's soured on me. This movie, I almost cried, because I was like, yes, this is the Star Wars movie I wanted. This actually feels more like a Star Wars movie than The Force Awakens did, and The Force Awakens was just ripping off A New Hope. So...
Yeah, I said that from the first day. It was the greatest movie that George Lucas made 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was my thing. I couldn't enjoy The Force Awakens because it was derivative. It was too derivative for me to enjoy it. It was just a rehashing with new characters in the same situation.
I won't say what, obviously, but this, depending on how you take it, this could potentially be like a very minor spoiler, but there are some derivative scenes from Empire and Jedi, and that's as far as I'll go with. Yeah, that's as far as I'll go with that. There's some derivative stuff in there, but the way they do it isn't like you can...
It's not like it's copy-paste.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd notice it, but you wouldn't go, oh, well, they're just blatantly doing that thing from those movies. Because the way he does it is different enough that it doesn't feel like he's just going for the nostalgia thing again.
Well, it seems like the movies are slowly growing away from what The Force Awakens did, and borrowing heavily from the previous trilogy. It sounds like they're finally like, because I noticed in Rogue One that it was more of its own story, at least. May not have fit together all that well.
Fit together fine for me, but
poorly edited or so.
There seem to be some behind the scenes chopping.
Yeah, I mean, when you boil down The Force Awakens, it's just a giant masturbation fest to the first Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Which I think that's the funny thing. I think most of the hate is also just coming from the fact that this movie is not that. This movie is not this movie's more.
This movie is decided that it doesn't need to milk the nostalgia nipple as hard because we already got you set up for what's in store. Now let's actually progress here, bitch.
Yeah, this is moving forward rather than
another
stagnating.
Complaint I heard. I want you to say true or false on this. Is that the secondary characters introduced in this movie aren't as well developed?
That's kind of subjective. I would say... God, I don't know. I'd say false, but that's just a personal opinion. Like, if I see the movie again, like when
maybe redigest it and think about it,
my opinion might change, but on a first viewing, I thought they did pretty well.
And so in the end, recommend it, don't recommend it. I know this is what I was going to do, but this is kind of the conclusioner.
Yeah, like I would... If you give a shit about Star Wars at all, I'd say go see it. But if you love the absolute shit out of Force Awakens, you might want to prepare yourself.
So apparently, Bill, myself, and Aaron are probably going to be back on when we resume in January to give our opinions on this movie.
I'll see it whenever I finally can get Fred out here to go take us. We were hoping for last weekend, but that didn't happen. Didn't happen, and we haven't heard anything about this weekend.
All right, so before we start the 5-minute challenge, I have a small rant I need to put out. Something that's got on my chest, need to get it out. And that is kind of a service announcement to everybody out there who has a house or has a highly decorated apartment or everything. Show a little human kindness when dealing with your Christmas decoration. We have a friend in town who posted on Facebook that one of his neighbors has one of those Christmas string of lights that plays music.
Oh god, so they're playing music all the damn time.
And they left it going all night long. Now, come on, people. Be courteous to other people. If you live in an apartment building, other people can hear your shit. Don't let it run 24/7 playing these annoying... Because if you ever heard those electric Christmas music playing lights, they're just a whole bunch of beeps in Christmas tunes. They're terrible.
Yeah, they're not even that good for sound, yeah.
Yeah. Don't let that interrupt your neighbor's sleep. Your neighbor has to work for 8 hours. I mean, Christmas Eve, maybe. And that's even a maybe. But
that's a hard sell even, yeah.
Don't do it like 2 weeks before Christmas. That's fucking dickish.
And the same thing, a couple hours at a time, not the whole night.
And the same thing if you have one of these large, gaudy, outdoor Christmas displays with, flashing lights and, moving parts and everything. Remind you that you have neighbors and they need to sleep. They don't need you doing air traffic control at 2 in the morning. So please, show human kindness in the season of human kindness. And remember that your neighbors need sleep too. And turn off your Christmas displays.
If my neighbors ever do that Christmas shit, then I'm going to set up a Halloween display with someone with, screams from slasher movies being played at random intervals.
See, you gotta do that during Christmas, though. If you do it during Halloween, then it's just not going to have the same impact.
Or
you gotta set up the Halloween stuff.
Aaron, you mean Aaron? You mean you would hear a high-pitched screech of death in the dead of night, and you wouldn't immediately jump out of bed?
But yeah,
just saying.
Just show a little human decency. If your Christmas display requires sunglasses,
please turn them
off
down
after midnight.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's less expected around Christmas.
You wouldn't expect the Christmas music like that during Christmas either, but in short, keep calm and don't be a dick, like the image here says.
Alright, so now the 5-minute challenge.
It's your turn, right, Randy?
Yep.
Alright, stopwatch is ready.
You can do it in 2.5.
Right, ready, Randy? 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so the Doctor and Turlough are sitting around the TARDIS with the Doctor pissing about Daleks when he hears a scream from there, and it's Kamilion, who is apparently getting taken over by the Master. The Doctor tries to help. Turlough goes to give a pacifying signal from the TARDIS, recognizes that some of the origin is coming from a Tryon ship, sabotages the TARDIS like a dumbass. And unfortunately, though, Kamilion basically takes control and winds up steering the TARDIS to a island in the Canary Islands, Lanzarote, I believe, in which we find our introduction to Perpigelian Brown, who's basically being a spoiled little bitch and is upset because she's not being allowed to take a plane to Morocco for the 3 months of her vacation. She's perfectly willing to sell her ticket back to New York to do so. This is not a bright person. Anyway, she compounds this stupidity by, after they deliberately leave her there in a boat, attempting to swim from the boat she's on to the shore of the island. Now, the Doctor is gone on the island doing exploring. Turlough has come back to the TARDIS to help triangulate the signal they're homing in on. And Turlough, of course, sees Peri drowning in the Atlantic. So he goes in, rescues her, brings her into the TARDIS, and takes her little thing that she had pulled off this survey ship, which has the Tryon signal, the 2 triangles on it. That is apparently the same as the tattoo Turlough has on his arm, and one that we've also seen in similar scenes taking place on the planet Sarn. And there it means that the person is the chosen one and has to deal with their god. Anyone remember the name of their god?
Logar.
I keep wanting to say Logan, and I knew it wasn't right. Logar. Logar has spoken. Logan would make a better god. Anyway. After which the Kamilion takes over, takes the form of the Master, and pilots the TARDIS to Sarn, although the Doctor manages to get on too. They come out. The Doctor and them are seen as an outsider and his friend, and initially they want to be all help, but then the Master comes out, masking as the outsider, orders them to kill the Doctor and friends, and during the process of this takeover, a young boy named, what was it? Malik something.
Malakar, I think?
Malakar is wounded, Malakan is shot and pretty much damn near mortally wounded, though he lingers. The Master then abducts Peri, eventually takes her back into the TARDIS, steals some stuff, and then goes into his own, has the population upend his own TARDIS, and drags Peri inside. They dematerialize and go to a different location, after which Turlough reveals his own symbol, takes over as their chosen one, and starts giving out some orders as their acting leader. The Master is basically in a control room that controls this huge-ass volcano that apparently goes all the way down to the core of the Earth. He's after this special gas that basically has healing properties, and is revealed to, of course, since it's Kamilion, being controlled by the real Master, who is the size of an action figure. We will refer to him, therefore, as Tiny Master, yo. So, Peri, upon discovering the box containing Tiny Master, approximately knocks over the box, in which case the Master escapes and starts running around the TARDIS in Tiny Master form. Peri removes her shoe with the intent of shooing the Tiny Master to death, but does not.
I totally went for that plan.
As he hides behind various things that Peri can't get to. Meanwhile, the Doctor has helped them set up stuff, realizing this gas that they're going to be working on, uses it to heal the boy, tracks them down to this location in the volcano, finds the Tiny Master, who has returned to the box and is attempting to control Kamilion again, at least for the few seconds until the Doctor turns the Master's own tissue compression eliminator on Kamilion, killing him utterly in what would have been a horrific scene had Kamilion been human. Instead, we just go yay.
Yay, the prop's dead.
He then fiddles around with the controls, and when the Master comes out in his little box and using the flame to return to his normal size, the Doctor changes the flame and apparently cooks the Master to death, except we know it won't. The Doctor and them thus escape in the TARDIS. It is revealed the fact that the planet was a prison colony by Turlough's people, the Tryon, and Turlough was an exile, a political exile from his people, and that regime that exiled him has been overthrown, and he's welcome to return to Tryon. Turlough agrees to do so after a little bit of hesitation, and goes off with his people, while the Doctor and Peri go off in the TARDIS. Peri mentions she has 3 months left of vacation and offers to travel with the Doctor. After a moment, the Doctor agrees. And the TARDIS lurches, and he says, "Welcome aboard." End of story.
You did it in 6 minutes, 2 seconds.
Damn it. I was hoping to get it just under 5, but I kept making side comments because they were worth it. Totally worth it.
Worth the jab.
Mm-hmm. So, what did you like about the episode? And Matt, you're first.
Ooh, goody.
Again.
But I am like just a string of firsts lately.
Right.
Let me open up this in a tab here really quick.
I think you weren't first last week, but Thomas was, and he wasn't here.
Actually, yeah, but still, I've been it so often lately. I'm almost expecting it at this point. Actually, I would like to comment on the music on this one, because I noticed the music a couple times, and for like mid '80s made-for-TV synth music, it's actually really good. Really good and really well done music that really felt like it fit the moods that they were going for throughout the story.
Yeah, this is kind of in the slight Renaissance era of Doctor Who, because this is right before Caves of Androzani, considered one of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever.
Mm-hmm.
And that had good music as well. So apparently, whoever was working for Radiophonic Workshop right there really knew their chops.
Yeah, whoever's running those synthesizers knew exactly how to get the right sound out of them, and didn't need to experiment. They just knew what to do naturally and just went for it, which is awesome.
And on the other hand, this is right after Resurrection of the Daleks, which I can't remember if the music there was decent or not.
I think it was okay. It wasn't great, but this one definitely stood out.
Okay. So, Tim, how about you? What did you like about the episode?
I thought Peri got off to a rocky start, especially that I want to go to Morocco. But she really grew on me throughout this episode.
Yeah, I think the second half, Peri started to turn around for me too.
All right. Mind you, her opening was pretty much fan service too.
Fan service with whining, just ugh.
No, I had more fun because I was counting the amount of time her accent slipped.
Nice.
I noticed that a couple times too, actually, in the first half as well.
Yeah, especially that first episode she's in. It's like, yeah, I've already turned in my plane ticket to New York. I'm like, York.
York?
See,
Einstein?
They should have taught her to do a Boston.
Yeah. Anyway, Thomas, how about you?
I'm gonna say the whole backstory of Turlough, because to be honest, this this and oh god, it's so forgettable that I already forgot what it's called. And it was like the thing we did last week. King's
Kamilion?
Demons. It was like the first thing that I saw Turlough in. I don't think I'd seen any.
Oh, you mean what we did a few months ago? Modern Undead?
I don't think I was here for that.
Let's see, because that was Turlough's first episode, was Modern Undead.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I know. I definitely haven't seen his debut. I might have seen the story that came before this, as far as
the Dalek one.
The actual episode order go. Yeah,
there were a
I think
few
I
other
might have
episodes.
seen the direction.
And you probably saw the Fifth Doctor's, the Five Doctors. We didn't have a huge role in that either.
Okay, so Modern Undead, by the way, Matt, was back in season 6. So it was just Bill, you, me, Aaron, and Tim. So yeah, that was back when we were doing trilogy or full series stuff. The same time we did Key to Time and E-Space and all that.
I was just trying to remember when it was that he was which one he was trying to think of.
Yeah.
No, he was saying last week was King's Demons, which was the first time he noticed, or
it'd be the first one that I've seen with him in a while, and Resurrection is probably the only other one that I've seen him in, and I don't even think I've seen that full series.
Five Doctors?
No, he said the Dalek one.
Five Doctors before.
Seriously?
You've not? Yeah, if you haven't seen Five Doctors, you should go see it. It's actually, I think it's a pretty good, decent one.
So, our Patreon funding is now for the rest of us to take a flight to Australia and freaking Clockwork Orange Thomas on several must-see episodes of Doctor Who. We will film this and put it up on the internet.
Just watch him with the eye apparatus, his eyes held open wide.
Aaron sitting there putting in the droppers, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like pound him in the dick with a cane.
No. Clockwork Orange him. Clockwork Orange him, Aaron. What do you think Clockwork Oranging people means?
That scene is also in Clockwork Orange.
Yes,
no, but when people refer to Clockwork Oranging someone, it means the scene where they're strapped onto the chair, forced to watch stuff.
That's not the scene I think of.
That's the scene most people are referring to, Aaron. I don't care what the scene you're thinking of.
That and the fact that Randy's obsessed with kicking people in the dick, so 1 + 1 equals.
Understandable.
Well, if he's threatening dicks, he'll threaten dicks.
That's going to die off in like 5 days.
Anyway.
As Thomas laughs nervously.
But no. We'll have to go out there, strap him down, force his eyes open, and just slam as much must-see Doctor Who down his gullet. He'll come out like 30 episodes higher. 5 days later, can't sleep, and every time he hears the Doctor Who theme, he'll freak out.
Which
he'll get
version?
Stomach aches. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so Bill, how about you? What did you like about this?
Pass. Nothing really stood out to me about this one.
Okay. Aaron?
Thomas kind of took mine. Like, I guess I'll follow up with my second, I guess, is that it's very kind of tonally even. The Doctor mentions when they land on the planet that it looks bleak. Well, the tone of the serial is also fairly bleak. You've got these people living in this desert planet. We don't see them growing any crops or anything like that, and they're worshipping a volcano that's about ready to probably destroy the planet in any minute. So, yeah, everything's kind of bleak and drab, and it feels unfriendly. And I do this is one of the places where I kind of appreciated Peri, because she's kind of this one bright spot in this bleak landscape, even if she is just kind of stumbling around lost, and it kind of makes it feel all the more hopeless. So,
all right. So my thought is, it's very rare that you see Doctor Who in its classic era film on location. So the fact that they actually went to the Canary Islands to film those scenes with where they pick up Peri and everything, I thought was kind of awesome.
And the where did they go to the volcano stuff? Because apparently that was somewhere around there too, I think.
It was apparently the same place.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this was filmed there, though apparently the other side of the Canary Islands, or at least
because they took a few good times to just like pull back that camera and just look around it. It was amazingly large.
Yep. So the fact that they managed to film on location for this was absolutely beautiful. It was enjoyable, wonderful. That makes this episode so much different, because it wasn't just a fucking gravel quarry.
Yeah, the sounds were different because it wasn't a gravel quarry. You could hear it in the stones that they were moving when they walked.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, yeah, I know a gravel quarry is easy, it's cheap, it's nearby the studio, but every now and then you gotta do something like this.
I think it was actually the I think it might have been, I forget, but in the behind the scenes thing, I think the director herself was actually like trying to pitch using where they filmed as a location, and it took like actually taking over like a camera and filming just blank slates of the landscape to actually convince JNT to do it.
Yeah,
literally good. Everyone have a vacation, and at the same time we can finish filming all the outdoor shots that we need.
You notice that all of them were in different costumes too, and that was because it was so fucking hot.
Actually, yeah. Matter of fact, Peter Davidson throughout the entire story slowly just removed layers.
Mm-hmm.
Got rid of the coat, and then he got rid of the vest, and he was just literally down to a shirt and pants.
Yeah.
Not entirely unlike what the Sixth Doctor would do in Spain.
As quickly as he could.
Yeah, I mean that's the same with everybody, because Turlough also was wearing a abridged version of his usual outfit.
Yeah, he also lost the jacket.
Blue pinstripe shirt and a pair of swim briefs. Peri, of course, was wearing basically her normal outfit with a bikini underneath. Which a couple scenes she was just in the bikini, you know, fan service. So
yeah,
they had to do that slow pan up the bikini.
Yep. All right. So what didn't you like about the episode, Matt?
Didn't like about the episode. How to describe this really quickly. Essentially, I have like tiers of actors when it comes to even like TV shows and stuff. We got our first tier, which is our main guys that are usually there at least once a season or something. Then we got the people who are there for the story, and then you got your background actors, and then you got your just filler. What do you call them? like just your filler gopher actors that just sit in the background and look nice. I noticed far too extras. I noticed far too frequently that the extras got way too damn close to the camera and they just looked absolutely useless. like there's extras like right in the midground and they're just kind of half staring at the camera or the crew behind it, and it's just like, emote something, damn it.
Okay, and this was directed by Fiona Cumming, who I think we remember. She also did Castrovalva. She also did Snake Dance and Enlightenment. I think we talked about her a bit in Enlightenment.
Okay, yeah, I think we did mention her a bit in Enlightenment. I don't know what happened with these extras, that they got so close to the camera and she wasn't aware that they were on camera so long or what, but something happened there that the extras just got pinned up way too close to the camera. And they were just,
like I said,
just dead eyes. It's just like, oh, come on.
Like I said, that's usually director fail, so I was...
So she must have just not noticed them and was too focused on what was going on in the foreground, maybe.
And that's, like I said, director fail, so that's on Fiona's shoulders. Tim, how about you? What didn't you like about it?
I didn't really like the color scheme of... the color of the robes that everyone wore was kind of unappealing to me.
Well, it was supposed to be drab and bland and beige, so...
Well, good on them.
Yeah, well, it also had to be function for those extras to be able to wear those in frickin' Lanzarote.
Yeah. You don't want them in blacks and roasting in the sun.
Yeah. Watch as your extras all die a heat stroke and you get, slapped with fines.
Yeah, you get slapped with all these fines from the BBC because these people will never go on a vacation shoot with you again.
All right. Thomas, how about you?
There's probably a few things I could go with, but I'm just gonna go with Peri's accent. Because
Peri's accent was hysterical.
It's hysterical in all the wrong ways.
Half the time
watching her slip in and out of this faux American accent like a
Einstein.
car that can't maintain a transmission. I was just sitting there going, there it is. There it is.
How many Americans do you know pronounce it Einstein? Not many, I guarantee you that.
It was so obvious that it was impeding her acting ability.
And I
was like, if she wasn't doing an accent, she'd probably be doing a lot of these scenes better. But the accent's just kind of holding her back.
Well, even later in the episodes, there's still the occasional word she'd trip on. I remember making fun of her, I think it was in Vengeance on Varos or Attack of the Cybermen or something, where she says the word glass. And I'm like, serious?
She'll say aluminium.
It was just one of those words that just absolutely came out pure English. And it's obvious she's doing it a lot in this.
Yeah. And it's like, why even... They don't even have to make her from the US, so, like, why even bother?
I think they were specifically looking for an American actor to do an American companion, and I think that she auditioned for the role with this accent, and they were like, yeah, that sounds American enough. I'm pretty sure that...
It was either that, or they were looking to make a token American actress, because they knew Doctor Who was a big thing in America.
Was becoming a big thing, yeah.
Apparently, the character was also supposed to be blonde at first, so the fact that they got was like,
my.
And basically, Nicola Bryant auditioned. They took a look at her tits and said, "You'll do." Because
I would have said that J&T looked at her tits, but I happen to know that J&T doesn't swing that way, as I recall.
He
still used that as a marketing.
He still knew enough that he's like, this is for the dads. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his point. Well, will this give the dads a hard on? Yeah, that'll give them a hard on. You're hired. That was basically J&T's attitude towards it. All right, so Bill, how about you? What did you not like about the episode?
I actually thought for the plot that it wasn't really flashy enough. We get a lot of cults and religions and gods on Doctor Who, and there's normally, flashing lights and deep voices and do not look behind the curtain. And there was none of that, and it felt like it was missing.
I'd argue against that,
This almost
actually.
feels like kind of a watered-down Brain of Morbius in some aspects.
I'm not so much getting a Brain of Morbius vibe either, but...
Kind of a shitty keeper of Traken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more towards that.
Alright, Aaron, how about you?
Alright, well, I guess I didn't like... let me see here. God damn, I had it right here.
Overall thing you didn't like.
God damn it, I was just thinking of it.
It happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I actually have it written down though, Phil. I found it. It's obvious that they're trying to hide the buggy nature of the chameleon robot.
Yeah, they like shot from behind and stuff.
Shot from behind, laying on the ground.
Replaced it with a guy in silver paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had maybe one or two money shots to the actual animatronic, and then that was all they could get out of it.
I don't get this. If they could do the robots of death, why couldn't they have done something similar? If they can do Cybermen, couldn't they
because
do something
Cybermen are
similar
people in suits.
Because those are people in suits, and this was supposed to be an animatronic that the person couldn't get inside of.
Yeah, this wasn't a guy in a suit. They thought, hey, look, we've got an animatronic, cool. And then they realized it was a shitty purchase, and this was them trying to get rid of the shitty purchase.
Yeah.
That's part one of why I call this course correction.
You notice Peter Davidson's attitude about Kamilion is 100% flip-flop from where it was in The King's Demons.
Yeah, he thought at the end of that, he thought the Kamilion was going to be great, and then all of a sudden, this one, he's just like, I'm willing to just kill off Kamilion at this point.
Yeah, you're a worthless pile of scrap. He's basically mirroring the producing staff's sentiment towards the pain in the ass robot.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that some of the squealing noises we heard were actually noises that the robot made when it frequently malfunctioned, because it was known to do that.
I don't think it was malfunctioning. I think it just made that much goddamn noise just to work it.
Yeah, well, the thing is also, and I'm going to just tack mine onto Aaron's here. If we had a nickel for every time the Kamilion went, it absolutely, it's just like, okay, I get it. It's in pain. Shut the fuck up. It just got to me.
It's worse because it's the
robotic
prop
screech.
The prop itself is so lifeless. It just I don't know. It just does not work. It comes off as
it was an
failing.
Epically stupid bad purchase on J&T's part.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably cost them a great deal of budget money, which is stupid. Because they didn't have a lot in that era. It's, one of the reasons some of the other special effects were fucking horrible in this era was they spent all their money on an animatronic robot.
Only to find out when they got on set that it was going to be shite.
Yep. Alright, so I've combined mine with Aaron in there. So best scenes, Matt.
Oh, best scenes. There's actually quite a few of them I liked in this one.
Choose one, and choose fast.
I'm going to go with the Master finding out the blue flame, because that was that was not only really nice acting for the Master's part, but also to see all the nice buttons and switches and levers and have it actually do something interesting in the plot.
Okay.
It's just a nicely built prop, and he had some really good reactions.
All right, Tim.
I love the scene where Peri sneezes.
Because no.
It's like when she's looking for the Tiny Master, and it's like it's just shot like
that is our canon name for him now, isn't it? Tiny Master.
Yeah.
Tiny Master.
It's like why did you film her sneezing like that? It's so amusing to me. Like she's dead center, like facing the camera. It's like a talking head. Like that's you. Okay. Or I want to know what was going on in the director's head.
Well, apparently it's supposed to be a point of view from the Master, but
it's supposed to be a distraction so the Master can get away. She just that's why she doesn't do well.
Well, I think Tim was asking why was it so close.
Possibly it was supposed to be Master POV, yeah. There's a lot of director question mark ideas in this.
All right. I completely skipped on another one. I'll bring it up later.
Thomas.
I'm just gonna keep this short because it shouldn't really need explaining, but the death of Kamilion.
Just because you enjoyed it.
You just enjoyed seeing that prop go away forever.
Alright, Bill.
I'm going to go with the scene of Tiny Master looking up, and the doctor's like, haha, you're a Tiny Master. And I don't know, I thought it was a funny scene.
Okay. Aaron?
I'm gonna say the scene where Turlough saves Peri. Mostly because it kind of exhibits the fact that he's grown as a character.
Yeah, you can see him almost, it's like, God damn it.
No, he literally does go stupid humans and one runs outside to save her.
I forgot I had a better scene than that, but it's too late now.
Yes, it is. Anyway, my favorite scene is Tiny Master on the loose. Just Peri going after him with the shoe and him just trying to dodge all over the place.
That was technically part of my other scenes, yeah.
I had hashtag Tiny Master. Just run with it. All right, least favorite scenes, Matt.
Least favorite scene. Goddamn squealing Kamilion on the ground, and the doctor just sitting there looking bored. The doctor sitting there looking bored, trying to talk over him, trying to keep him calm. It's just like, just kill him already.
All right, Tim.
Least favorite scene is the scene where Peri's first scene where she's trying to talk with Howard about I put in my plane ticket because there's so much inconsistency in her character. It's like, wait, how old is she supposed to be? Like, is she trying to? Does she need Howard's permission or not? It's like it's not handled very well.
I think she's supposed to be about 16 or 17.
18, 19.
I think they mentioned college. I think
the idea college, so she had to be at least 18.
I thought going to college.
I thought she was advancement in college, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I thought she was just one of those like young college students that still rely on their parents for
funding,
everything.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be why they would be able to restrict her from going places.
Well, they would if they're her source of money, which seems to be a lot of that sort of student.
Seeing if there's any statement on her age in like any of this stuff. No, there's not.
Yeah, in an interview that I was watching, she said that the idea was she was supposed to be about 18, 19.
Okay.
It says she was born in 1966. When was this set?
1984.
Like 82 or something? 84, so she would have been 18-ish.
Yes. 17, 18. So she might be a year advanced and just under 18. But either way, it's just a question. Okay. But yeah, the thing is, my question becomes, if she doesn't like being lectured, why the fuck is she traveling with the doctor?
Actually, I think it's more to the fact that he'll lecture her on things that she doesn't actually know about. Where she seems to be annoyed about being lectured about stuff she already was aware of.
All right.
And then she ends up with the Sixth Doctor, who lectures her about the British versus American pronunciations.
Yeah, she's pretty much boned. But mind you, she didn't sign up for that. She just got stuck with it.
Yeah.
We didn't sign up for it either. We just got stuck with it. All right. So
and not a moment too soon.
Was that Tim's?
So that was Tim. Yeah. So
all right, Thomas. How about you? Your least favorite scene?
Ooh, there's a few, but I think I'm just gonna go with this weird moment where they're going to shoot the doctor. With one of those really weird looking things. And this guy jumps in front of the doctor to take the shot, but it's just like the most unenthusiastic no ever. He's just like, no, like, no real emotion in it at all, and then just drops down dead. And it's like, okay, that happened.
All right, that was there. Okay, we don't care about you. We're done. Bill, we're scene.
I'm going to go with the Doctor berating Kamilion because as much as like it makes sense, like looking at it as a prop from a meta level, like just looking at it as like the Doctor just treating this, sapient person that he took aboard the TARDIS like shit, calling him a slave and whatever, it's kind of disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seemed more like he was saying that he should like go against that because the Master's the one that keeps calling him that, and
yeah, it just wasn't worded well.
Yeah,
I could see that, but yeah.
Aaron, how about you? Least favorite scene?
The Master's demonstration of the tissue compression device.
I was fine with that.
Well, no, that wasn't what was bad. It was Peri's reaction to it.
Oh, Peri's reaction to it. Which
the
was,
fact that she just like stared and she was just like, I guess I'm going to look somewhat defiant now, or blank space, somewhere in between. It's just like, and it's Peri, so if anything, Peri would be sitting there shrieking her head off in terror.
Actually,
going,
let me Mystery Science Theater joke this for you, Aaron. Dull surprise!
The thing is, if there had been remains in there of like this person that was supposed to be Logar,
then she'd be screaming.
And they shrunk the remains. That would have been a little more effective a demonstration.
True.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you call it? Like, all it did was make them look like doll clothes anyway. So she's just gonna be like, well, I'll just be really tiny then.
Oh, cool!
Yeah.
I can make Volcanic Explorer Barbie.
Yeah.
Okay, so my least favorite scene is the Doctor, basically electing to roast the Master alive, because it's not something the Doctor would do. He would still choose to save the Master because that's who the Doctor is.
Especially this Doctor.
Yes.
Usually this Doctor is, but he got like seriously like downered after that Dalek intersection.
Yeah, he's obviously in a dark place, and it's just absolutely.
And he's just sick of the Master, so no shit's given. Fire.
Yeah, and the fact that they just like, okay, I did that and moved on. It's just like, what the fuck?
I'm willing to even bet that the Doctor is still thinking, and I bet you he still survived it somehow. We'll deal with him later.
Yeah, and of course he did. He did. We saw him again in Mark of the Rani, but still.
You halfway expected the Doctor to shout, and he's gonna need a doctor.
Yeah, that whole thing kind of bugged me, and I was almost gonna say that, so I'm glad I didn't steal yours. Was that I would have thought that he was gonna rush over to the panel and start trying to press stuff and just be like, let's see if I can not have this happen. And so it's like just weird that he is just kind of standing there and just like,
yeah, okay, I'm just gonna watch you fry.
Now.
The thing is, they were that production team was actually thinking about ending the Master right there.
Oh yeah, like
I wouldn't be surprised. Also, they were the script was supposed to force in the bit about the Master possibly being his brother, but Delgado just never said it on screen. Actually, no, they didn't cut it. Delgado refused to add that last bit.
That was back. That was back in the third Doctor era. No, this production team was going to end the Master's run on this bit, but I think later on they decided it was too dark.
Yeah, this would be too dark of a one to introduce that idea anyway.
Yeah, it was that his contract was up, so they were like, screw it, let's kill him off.
Yeah, they were going to McLean him. And they decided, no, we'll renew his contract. We'll bring him back for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, and of course the other.
Did we just lose?
Was that there's nothing he could do. Just had to watch it happen because it was.
Yeah, the Doctor did look a little bit confused, like he was trying to figure out.
Just making.
You're really in and out all of a sudden, Thomas.
Maybe that.
Yeah, we're losing you. You're going a little Cyberman on us there.
Not in Cyberman. I'm like, he just goes quiet for like 3 seconds.
Yes, but the master is, I mean, he gives him orders of what to do to, save his life, and the doctor still maybe looks confused, but just stands there still. The doctor's good enough that he could have thought of something. He should have been at those controls looking for something to flip.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, he's just standing there looking on, like, why should I save
you? Actually, yeah, he had another look at dull surprise. Just an episode of dull surprise looks.
Yeah. It's just that bothered me. It still sticks with me that was probably the wrong expression for the doctor to have, the wrong idea. And like,
if anything, I would have had him like looking away with regret.
And I want to bet that wasn't in the original version of the scripts, and that the production team added that.
Maybe.
To like I said, to write off the master, but rethought it later. Anyway, so final thoughts, and Matt, you're up.
Final thoughts. A lot of this episode is essentially shaking things up and bringing things back into order. Let's get rid of some of the bad ideas, like let's get rid of Kamilion, because dear God.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to let's switch things up with the other of our only main cast aside from the Doctor. So let's get a new companion in there.
Yeah.
And switch out the current
way,
one.
This was the first instance of the companion handoff, where the old companion departs in the same serial that the new companions added. Where you didn't have other companions still in the mix. Normally it was companion leaves previous serial, new companions picked up next serial. And that's the way they kind of did it from Peri to Mel, but Mel also did the handoff to Ace. So, just noticing there's some similarities there.
They also I noticed that Aimee, I don't know why I called him Delgado earlier. Aimee seemed to be a little less ham. He also gave the classic master line of "You will obey me."
Yeah, and then he had to add "or die."
Yeah.
Actually, no. He just did the "You will obey me" at the first time.
Line? But then he had to walk around threatening her the whole time.
Yeah. It would have been great if they heliumed Tiny Master's voice.
I was actually hoping they would have, but yeah, they didn't. Anyway, so there's
you will obey me.
There's switching that up. There was obviously a darkening of the Doctor's character in this one, which would be a thing that would still persist with the Sixth Doctor a bit.
Yeah.
Because they obviously after that last inclusion of the Daleks, he got really gloomy here.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was always a bad thing, because the final episode of the Fifth Doctor is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad the Sixth Doctor started off real rocky. But essentially, I feel like this is a mixed bag, but this is a mixed bag because they're trying to course correct a lot of bad mistakes they had made in the last season or two.
Unfortunately,
not everything went as planned. Yeah.
No, unfortunately, constant course correcting would become a reoccurring theme in upcoming seasons of Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, not everything going according to plan. I guess that's it.
All right, Tim?
I thought this was a pretty nice episode with a good introduction of Peri and a good send off to Turlough. Like, it showed like how he had come, like how he had grown with his experience with the Doctor. And another interesting thing I thought was the character of Tomalor, the high priest guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought that's an interesting take, because usually these kinds of characters are all zealous, and like very violent, but he seemed like a pretty friendly, like down to earth guy for like a
Timonov,
guy
by the way.
What?
Timonov,
yeah.
But I do agree that he was an interesting one. Good to do.
So that was a pretty cool thing.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Right, Thomas?
I mentioned it before the podcast, but the first time I watched this, I actually fell asleep and had to rewatch the last 3 episodes this morning. But that aside, even giving it a proper watch, it's just like, I don't know, something about this feels really forgettable and middle of the road. It's not crap, necessarily, at least not entirely, and there are some redeeming elements in there. But, I don't know. It's just one of those things where if I watch it a few more times, my opinion may change, but, yeah, I don't know.
Alright. Bill?
Not hugely enthused about this episode. It's very Turlough centric, and I can't think of an episode where I really enjoy Turlough on screen. He's a little better in Big Finish, but that's because I think pretty much everybody is. Kamilion is Kamilion, and this was written to scrap him because he needed to be scrapped. Highlight for the episode, I think, was Peri finally getting enough of the Master's shit. Like, stop threatening me if you're not going to come out and do anything about it. Which is the thing that I forgot to mention earlier. But that's not enough to make it a strong episode in and of itself. So it's kind of on the low end of middle of the road.
All right, Aaron.
Yeah, this one was. I don't know. I know I mentioned I like the fact that the tone was bleak throughout, but it's almost a little too bleak. It feels like it feels like they know that there's something up, that the show is like kind of starting to get into trouble financially. And the screws are kind of being turned slowly, and I don't know. There's like a sense of impending doom around the production itself, it feels like, and as a result, the episode or the serial kind of comes off as a bit of a downer, and also really kind of dark. Well, with the Master being fried to death and everything, so
being supposedly fried to death.
Supposedly fried to death, but I mean, if you look at it from the point of view, the episode first came out, or even as a new viewer, not knowing what's coming up next, you know, it's a pretty nasty way to go. I guess you should watch it, although you probably aren't going to enjoy it, because it is important for all the changes that occur. I mean, at the time, especially with the death of Kamilion and the leaving of Turlough and the coming of Peri.
Okay. That everything you gotta say?
Yep.
Okay, so it's up to me next. I do think that this is a better episode than the shit we've been watching the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, however, think this makes it a great episode. It is definitely flawed in many ways. I think that the writing staff, the script editor, Saward, rewrote it a couple of times. Add junk Kamilion here, junk kill the Master here kind of bits. And it really kind of turns it into a massive bleak fest because Turlough leaves, Kamilion dies, the Master dies, and it's kind of reflected elsewhere in the script that makes it kind of doldrummy. It's better than what we've watched, but it's by nowhere near Prime Who material. Okay, so ratings, and Matt, you are first. You've given the last 2 weeks a 2.5.
Last couple weeks were 2.5s, and yeah, they were terrible. I've been borderline on this, and I think I might be actually the highest one in the group, to be honest, because I like the good stuff so much that I think it overshadowed the bad stuff. So I'm gonna give this one a 4. It's at least good, but it's not great.
Jesus, Matt.
Okay. I like this one, so sue me.
All right, Tim.
I really like the last half.
Well, I can't do it go worse than Matt, so I have to give this a 4 too. Well, I would have given it a 4 anyway.
I hate both of you.
Welcome to the high end, Tim.
What do you mean? Tim's always on the high end.
If it weren't for the few redeeming things, I'd probably score this lower than a 3, but given there are some redeeming stuff in this, I'm just going to give it a flat 3.
Alright, flat 3. Okay. Bill?
I'm going to say a 2.5 on this one.
5. Aaron?
I'm going to say...
The last 2 weeks, you've given a 2 and a 3.
2 and a 3. I think I'm actually going to go with Bill and give it a 2.5.
And I'm going to agree with the last 2 and give it a 2.5.
Ouch.
I'm not hearing about how shitty my taste is this week.
No, you're not.
Now you're part of the team. Welcome home, friend.
Apparently, you're on one end of the polarized on this, because you've got the people who apparently liked it to an extent, and then the people who hated it, and Thomas is the only one that's just kind of like, well, it happened. Anyway, this averages out to a 3.1, which in our rankings we'll place it at, care to give me a drum roll, Matt? Of course, it may take, ooh, God, they changed where the sort is.
They did an update again, yep.
Yep. Alright, at 3.1, this comes in at number 182 of 228. So, not the bargain basement, but kind of the sub-basement.
It's floor 1 of 3 in the basement.
It is on par with Earthshot, Cold War, Rings of a Cotton, Class, the Coach with the Dragon Tattoo, Asylum of the Daleks, The Mysterious Planet, and The Sea Devils. It is better than The Wheel in Space, The End of Time, The Beast Below, Deep Breath, The Ultimate Foe, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, and Revelation of the Daleks, and not as good as Arc of Infinity, Robot, The Pandorica Opens, Big Bang, Time Lash, The Mahogany Murders, and Daleks Master Plan. So there you go. 182 out of 228. That's all we have to say about Planet of Fire.
Okay, if you enjoy listening to us, please don't forget to subscribe on Twitch and on YouTube, especially since our next review is not going to be at a regular time. You can also follow us on Facebook and regular day, I should say. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter for news and updates, and if you want to support us, you can head on over to patreon.com/unearthlypodcast.
All right, next week, we're going to be back in a mere 5 days for our last review of the year. Tune in Monday, Christmas Day night, at our usual time for our review of the Doctor Who Christmas Special 2017, Twice Upon a Time, written by Stephen Moffat and starring Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, David Bradley as the First Doctor, Pearl Mackie as Bill Potts, Mark Gaddis as World War I soldier, I think the Lieutenant, I think is what his name is, and introducing Jodie Whittaker as the new Doctor.
Hey, Jodie.
We will see
there
you
was
in
much celebrating.
Yay. We will see you in 5 days, full of our Christmas feasts and full of new Doctor Who.
Yay!
Good night.
Good night.